Hey, what's the thought, beloved? This is Jabril. To our one community, let me extend to my brothers and sisters. So, this week is supposed to be, or will be, about the fear of failure. And I'm going to try my hardest to get as much out of that as possible. Last night, I went over a few things with someone on what exactly I meant by that. And I wanted to get into different things that failure, or fear of failure, I should say, can bring or cause people to feel. First of all, I want to make clear that with a fear of failure, it's nothing without having something in mind that you want to accomplish. Like, you can't be afraid of failing if you don't have anything that you want to succeed at exactly. Me personally, I guess you could say I'm afraid of failing at making content or music, anything that I want to do in my life when it comes down to goals or dreams or aspirations. You can say that I'm afraid of failing at that, right? So I wanted to clarify that there is no fear of failure if you don't have anything that you want to succeed or things that you aspire to be, right? So as I said last night, I was going over a few things about this, and we were brainstorming, and we came up with a couple things, which are embarrassment. People can fear being embarrassed. I'll get into that. Shameful, fear of being a disappointment. These are three huge things, and I want to get deeper into it on what I mean, and hopefully throughout the week I'll have other people to help me discuss and tag along. Now, let's talk about disappointment. And I believe that to make things more easier for whoever listens to this, to understand better, I'm going to be more personal on my particular life and use things that I go through as examples on what I mean. So, like I said, there are three things: disappointment, shame, and I think the first one was embarrassment that I mentioned, actually. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about embarrassment. The fear of being embarrassed because you're striving to chase after something that others may deem to be unrealistic. Now, disappointment. Who are we disappointing? Who are we afraid of letting down? Who are we afraid of looking in the eye and, saying, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought it would work," and, that type of stuff. Who are we afraid to disappoint? Well, in my mind, there are three people that we would be afraid to disappoint. Three groups of people. I guess one would be an individual, but you'll see what I mean. Number one, family. All right? We are afraid to disappoint our family. Now, who particularly in the family you're afraid to disappoint? I'm sure you know. Me personally, there are many people that I'm afraid to disappoint. Specifically, my mother, my grandmother, my father, my sister, and a couple other people in my family as well. But I want to focus on the main people. Those are just the main people. I would say that I'm afraid to disappoint them. Now, let's talk about my mother. My mother is 40 years old. She just made 40 this year. She went to college, and obviously, like anyone else, you go to college hoping to become something. Obviously, not everyone becomes the thing that they set out to be. And sadly, she fell into that group of those who went to college and had a dream and had a vision, but didn't seem to see it all the way through for whatever reason. And I want to talk about her reasons. My mother my mother my mother got cancer when she was 25 years old. All right? And she still has it. She got breast cancer, I believe. And throughout her life, even up until now, she's gotten so many different types of cancer: lymphoma, breast cancer, I think some other cancer, I'm not sure. But basically, she's dealt with health problems for as long as I've known her, my entire life. It's spread out throughout her body. So a lot of things that she's gone through, a lot of treatments, a lot of surgeries that I've seen her go through, she's been audited out, I'd say that. And it sucks. It sucks to have a sickness at 25 years old. Like, I'm about to be 20 in like 3 years. So you give me about 7 more years, basically. I'll be at the age, which is not a lot of time. 25 is very young to catch cancer at that age. So yeah, she caught cancer. She had 2 kids, me and my sister, my older sister, and she fell in love with my father, who honestly they didn't get married. So she caught cancer, had 2 kids, fell in love with someone but didn't get married. She wanted to be married. She still wants to be married. And I'm just giving a little backstory. This is all going to tie in. I'm just trying to give a little backstory. So all of these different things that she wanted in her life did not happen for her. So you can see why being afraid to disappoint her and let her down is so important to me, you know. Certain things, obviously, we can't take back. We can't make good on, right? I can't give her that time that she wanted with my father. I can't give her back the years of treatment and chemotherapy that she's dealt with. I can't do that for her, you know? I can't correct my sister's mistakes that she made while growing up and the stress that she's caused, you know? And even me, I've made mistakes as well that caused stress on her. I can't bring back that time and make anything better. I'm not in the position where I can give her the job that she wanted or anything like that, obviously. We can't do that, all right? So when you say, or when I say, afraid of disappointing her, someone may ask, well, what could you do for her to make her proud, right? And to give like a watered down explanation or answer to that, you could say, I could say I'd work hard. You know, I'd stay in school. I set out goals and plans. You know, I'm doing this content. I do everything that I can to be the complete opposite of what she wouldn't want me to be, you know, which is some asshole out here, you know, some piece of shit teenager that's just wilding out, you know. As we all know, the generation we live in, all these crazy people out here, man. I can't be like that. You know, I've had moments where I wanna do certain things. I wanna go crazy and party and I still do a lot of that stuff, but I know when to cut it out because I know what's at stake. I know at the end of the day, I'm trying to accomplish something for a particular reason. I'm not waking up constantly thinking on my mind, hey, I need to make sure that I get something done today. I'm not thinking that way for no reason, you know, because when I walk out of my room and I go see her, I don't just see her. I see all the things that she's gone through. I see all the trauma that she's went through, the abuse, the physical abuse, the drug abuse that she's been doped up from treatment for fucking cancer. All these different things that play a part into her misery. I see that. I don't just see her, you know? So when you talk about the fear of disappointment, yeah, I'm afraid of letting her down. I'm afraid of not amounting to the things that I set out to be, that I told her that I would be, you know. And it's important that I stress this enough because I know that there's someone out there who's in the same position that I'm in. And my job here is to find a way to connect to you, whoever that is. I don't know, but whoever you are, I feel you, all right? We're going through the same thing probably. Many people are, all right? And we gotta keep going. We can't stop. We can't stop. Bottom line. So that's the fear of disappointment. And that's why I am afraid of disappointing, you know, and I can get into different other family members, but I just wanted to use my mother as a main example because that's the closest to me as of now. All right, so we got embarrassment. I believe the other two is shame and... Well, no, actually, we're still on embarrassment. So we got family. Now let's talk about the other two. There's friends, and I want to talk about that right now. Okay. Okay, let's talk friends. So I live in a small town. I've grown up around the same people, you know, my entire life. So I've grown very extremely close to the guys that I would call friends as of now. And I'm in a position that everyone goes through, or I would assume a lot of people go through, where they start to question their friends, question if they're good for them, if that type of stuff. I'm going through that phase, right? Where I question my peers and who I surround myself with. So I'm not going to spend too much time on friends. I'm going to just get straight to it. I look around and I want more for myself. And I'm not sure if those around me want it as bad, because if I'm being real, no one that I know personally has experienced the same things that I've experienced that can drive you this hard to want something so bad, right? So my friends, I love my friends. I really do. I really do. I think that they have a lot of flaws, though. They have a lot of flaws. And this isn't about to be something where I talk about them. This isn't what this is about. I'm afraid of venturing off from the group and detaching myself from people, and just for it to be meaningless, And what I mean by that is me being in a position where I say, okay, you know what, no more. I love you guys, but I'm better than this. I can't keep doing shit like this. And that causes some type of conflict. It's like, oh, you think you're better than me. That type of energy. And so I go off on my own with this mission and this mindset to achieve something. My fear of failure is being embarrassed by the fact that I thought I was different. I thought I was special or better than. And then I don't achieve the things that I set out to achieve. And now I'm looked at as a person who was clearly confused. I didn't put my money where my mouth was, to be more specific. I left the group in high hopes to be something better, and then I don't achieve that, and now look at me. So that's what I mean by friends, and being embarrassed by that. They look at you like you didn't, potentially looking at you as if, look at you, you didn't achieve shit. You said you were going to do this. You said you were basically better than us, and well, you didn't do anything. So that's what I mean by embarrassment by friends, and tying into the fear of failure. Now, the last one, because we had family, we had friends, and the last one, which I said is individual, which is ourselves. Fear of letting ourselves down, disappointing ourselves. Me personally, I have lazy habits. I say that I need to work on my discipline. Let's say that. I'm an undisciplined person. I have these amazing goals in mind. They're not perfectly planned out to the T, I'll admit. So when you talk about fear of failure and letting yourself down or disappointing yourself, that's a huge thing. And we know deep inside whether or not we're a fully focused or disciplined person, or are we just bullshitting around? Like, we know the truth. Even if we try to lie to ourselves or lie to anyone else, deep down, that voice in our head is going to tell us the truth. And we choose to listen to it or not. Me personally, I battle it all the time. I try to be the best version of myself as much as possible every single day for various reasons. And one of those reasons happened to be just for myself, to make myself proud. I dream, I tell my friends this, I dream of the day where I could cry tears of joy. I've cried so many times, but I've never cried tears of joy. So my biggest accomplishment that I would say, if I do achieve all of this, I'd say my biggest accomplishment is looking myself in the mirror, fucking bawling my eyes out, snotty nose, all this type of stuff, but not for a sad reason, but just knowing that you did it. Where I could just tell myself, you did it, you achieved it, great job. And until then, obviously, this is where I am right now, and a lot of work to be done, but I fear letting myself down. All right, because I've seen so many people let themselves down that are like obviously older than me, their life played out, and it sucks. I can't imagine what it must feel like to be like 30 years old, looking back, or however many years old you are. You can be young, old, in between, but just that feeling of regret, knowing that you could have done something with yourself, that it was within you all along and you let it slip through your fingers. And then the worst thing I would say is to watch someone else do it. And even worse than that, to watch someone younger take advantage of their talent, the talent that you had, the talent that you could have taken advantage of. To watch someone younger correct the mistakes that you made and move past that and be what you could have been. So when I say disappointing myself, that's what I mean. Just letting all of this opportunity slip through my fingers. All right. So we got disappointment. We got embarrassment. What else do we have? Let me think. Okay, so we talked about disappointing those around us and ourselves. We talked about being embarrassed. Let's talk about worthlessness. I think that a lot of people at my age in particular feel worthless. And I feel that way sometimes. I do. I really do feel that way sometimes. And when I say worthless, I mean a lack of guidance. And though I feel that way sometimes, I can say I don't completely feel that way because I kind of know the direction that I want. I know the trajectory that I potentially could have. And I just kind of know where things fall into in certain places in my life right now because I know what I'm good at. I know what I want to do somewhat, right? But I do have those moments where I feel worthless, you know? Those moments where you sit down and you just rethink everything. You question if what you are doing makes sense, if it's really going as planned in your head, how you imagine it to be, you know? And sometimes those negative thoughts win. They get the best of you. And I'm starting to realize that that's just something that happens. And well, I'm not sure if people have ever found a way to completely erase those thoughts, but I'm trying my hardest to. I can say that. I'm trying my hardest to always keep my head up. But yes, it's hard. It's hard to feel like you are just completely purposeful all the time. Like all the time, you just have a purpose. So I know that there are people who struggle with trying to find value within themselves. I've seen people get into relationships, and I've done this before. You get into a relationship because you can't find value in yourself, so you try to find that meaning in someone else. And when they leave you or when something goes wrong, you feel like you don't have that. You kind of cling to them, or you feel like you need them because they give you some type of value. They give you some type of significance in your life. They are your purpose in your head. And so I've been in that position where you attach yourself to someone and you feel like without them that you're basically nothing. And that's a terrible mindset to be in. That's a terrible mindset to have. So I really encourage people to find something, all right? Find something to do. There's too much in this world. There's too much, and let me not hit the table so hard before the phone falls, but there's too much in this world. Imagine me banging the table talking to you. There's too much in this world for you to be sitting down, allowing someone else to give you meaning, okay? You have to find meaning within yourself. You have to. And it's bigger than just relationships. That's just an example. There's plenty of other ways that you can find false meanings in life, okay? You can spend your life getting fucking high. I have family members who do cocaine, and I've had my grandfather did heroin, all these crazy drugs. So there's different things to get attached to and just think that that's who you are. You just do that and that's it. There's nothing else to life than whatever you're finding meaning in. That's obviously destroying you, destructive to your life. But my point is, we can feel worthless sometimes, and we fear failing. We fear not having that sense of guidance, that sense of purpose in our life. You know, so it's a battle, man. It's a battle, especially when you see other people moving quicker than you are, you know, and you think to yourself, like, damn, when is it gonna happen for me? You know, when am I gonna make it happen? You know, so it's a mental struggle, to say the least. It is. It really is. And I've been through it. I'm still somewhat going through it, where I'm trying to make sure that the things that I set out to do for myself is really what I want to do. I'm not sure how you know if something is really what you want to do. I think that you just take a chance. You just risk it. You risk it for the biscuit, okay? And you just keep going, and maybe one day you'll look up and you'll achieve everything you always wanted, and maybe not, but I feel like that's the game in life. Better to lose than to quit. All right? So that's my motto. Better to lose than to quit. Look at me. All right. So I feel good about this video. I hope you guys do too. But that's it. To recap, fear of failure. This week, I'll be going over it with other people, hopefully. If not, then I'll just keep making videos and getting deeper into things. I really appreciate those who take the time to watch these videos. It means a lot to me, and my dream is to have a community that is positive and not in a way where we're just all happy. I love talking about mental health. I love talking about the good and the bad because I've gone through both. You know, I've really gone through the bad shit too. So my dream is to have a community that's honest and open and just real and pure. You know, I don't want to fake anything. I don't want to hide anything. I want to be as true to who I am as possible because what else is there to do, right? All right? From the most serious to the simplest of issues, people, young people specifically, deal with these types of issues daily. We never know how what they are going through actually affects them. However, it can affect us mentally, potentially moving us to hurt others and or ourselves, even going so far as to commit suicide. So this is me leaving my door open for us to have a chance to talk. And I hope others will do the same and join us. Remember to go and inspire somebody, beloved, as we close. One community, one world. Be peaceful.